Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming today. Y'all know I'm Captain Potter. I'm the PIO here at the Sheriff's Office. We've got a number of folks who are going to make us some statements this afternoon. Sheriff Clark with the Sheriff's Office, Mr. Volpe Boykin with the Isle of Wight Smithfield Windsor Crimeline, and then representatives from the Breeden family have some statements that they want to make this afternoon. So I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Clark.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. First, I wanted to give condolences to the family of Mr. Rakim Malik Breeden. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Also want to thank Isle of Wight County Sheriff's Office investigators and deputies for their hard and diligent work in this tragic incident. Especially to the investigators, along with our local and regional law enforcement partners, who have spent countless hours attempting to locate the offender, Mr. Preston Kyle Thomas. A brief synopsis of the incident is as follows. On September 23rd, 2021, at 2:23 p.m., Isle of Wight County Sheriff's Office personnel responded to Safco products located in Shirley T. Holland Industrial Park for a report of a shooting. Upon arrival, deputies determined that a verbal and physical altercation had taken place between two temporary employees inside the workplace. The individuals involved were identified as Mr. Rakim Breeden and Mr. Preston Kyle Thomas. After the altercation, Preston Kyle Thomas leaves the building and goes to a car parked on the property. A short time later, both individuals were on break and another verbal altercation occurred. It was at this point that Preston Kyle Thomas removes a handgun from his pants pocket and shoots Mr. Breeden several times. Mr. Breeden runs back into the workplace where he collapsed. Preston Kyle Thomas gets into a white Hyundai and leaves the scene. Employees and management began rendering first aid to Mr. Breeden. He was transported to a local hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Preston Kyle Thomas has outstanding warrants for second-degree murder and use of a firearm to commit murder. And I have a personal message to Mr. Thomas. Turn yourself in peacefully. If you don't, we will not stop looking for you. We will find you, and you will answer to these charges of this senseless murder. To the public, if you have any information of the whereabouts of Preston Kyle Thomas, please contact your local crime line. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Volpe Boykin, chairman of the Isle of Wight Smithfield Windsor Crimeline. I'd just like to say the Isle of Wight Smithfield Windsor Crimeline continues to partner with our citizens and law enforcement to make Isle of Wight County a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. Today, we partner with the Breeden family to help bring them closure to this tragic and senseless event. We're joining forces with the Breeden family to increase the reward in this matter to $5,000. Also, we will be working with our corporate sponsor, Adams Outdoor Advertising, to have his wanted poster displayed on electronic message boards throughout the Hampton Roads and Peninsula region. If you have any information as to the location of Preston Thomas, you are asked to contact the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP or on the P3 Tips app as well as p3tips.com. It is imperative that this individual be taken off the street, and we plead for your assistance in making this happen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chance Lynch with Lynch Law, and I'm honored to stand with my colleague and co-counsel, Attorney Chantel Cherry Lassiter from Chantel Cherry Lassiter Law out of Elizabeth City. We have the esteemed privilege and honor of representing and standing alongside Ms. Mary Breeden, who is the mother of her only child, her son, Rakim Malik Breeden, who was involved and who suffered, and his life was taken from him in a senseless and incredibly senseless situation. I want to start by just emphasizing to you that this happened at a place of employment. It's not a situation that happened out on the street. It's not a situation that happened among gang members. Rakim was an outstanding young man. 26 years old, a native of Como, North Carolina, would have celebrated his 27th birthday on March 30th. In several weeks from now, this only child of Mary Breeden, who not only was an outstanding son, but who also served our country. He served as a military police. He was a part of the National Guard and found employment, and not only that, but was a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Pembroke with a degree in psychology. Young man working, trying to provide a life for himself, to assist his mom, getting up, going to work, his first day on the job, is involved in this altercation where Preston Thomas goes to his car, takes out a handgun, and he shoots Rakim, taking his life. Ladies and gentlemen, all the public that's watching, stand with us. Stand with us as we stand with this mother. We need your help. We can't do it without you. And we're grateful today for Sheriff Clark, Captain Potter, Deputy Paul, and the outstanding job that Sheriff Clark's staff is doing to accommodate and assist us. We stand in solidarity with them, and we're asking anyone who has any information about the whereabouts of Preston Thomas to come forward. Help us stand with this mother and bring Mr. Preston Thomas to justice. Now, in a moment, we're going to, I know that Ms. Breeden would like to say a few words, and then Attorney Cherry Lassiter is going to come, and we will, and let me say this to all of the press that's here, Ms. Breeden is going to make remarks. She will not be taking any questions. Attorney Cherry Lassiter and I are here, and we're happy to answer any questions that we can for you at the appropriate time.
I'd like to thank Alza Wight, Sheriff Department, for what you have done thus far. And what I want to say is, please, anyone that knows the whereabouts of this young man, please, I plead with you, find it in your heart. Please turn him in. He's doing himself no justice running. Thank you.
I'm Attorney Chantel Cherry Lassiter with Chantel Cherry Lassiter Law Office, PLLC, located in North Carolina. As you have heard, we are standing here with a grieving mother who just thought her son was going to work one day and never returned. She watched him go into the military. She watched him go off to college. Who would have thought he would just go off to a job and never return? This is something a mother should not have to deal with. This is something no one should have to deal with. The mother, the family, the aunts, cousins. This is senseless. And we're asking, again, for the community to stand with us. If he's outside the community, stand with us and call the number that was provided for you earlier to locate Preston Thomas and bring him to justice. Thank you.
Questions?
Are we able to direct them, Tommy, to both the
Yes,
sheriff's
please.
department and the attorneys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so whoever can answer this, I mean, what has been done in the last, however months it's been since fall to try to locate Thomas? I mean, can you tell us as to where tips coming in, searching, anything like that as to what we know has transpired since September?
Yep. So as you may recall, originally we had information that directly after the shooting, that Preston Thomas had gone to an apartment complex located here in the county. So our investigation to locate him started at that point immediately with the assistance of the Virginia State Police and their tactical response team. It turned out that he was not there. We did receive some information that just prior to our arrival, he was there and he had left and maybe had gone to some areas on the peninsula. Over the past several months, we have spent countless hours and made dozens of trips to the peninsula working with our partners on the peninsula as well as throughout the state and our federal partners as well. To getting into the exact specifics of what we've done to attempt to locate him would not be productive for the investigation at the time, but I can tell you that the investigators that have been assigned to this case over the past several months, that has been their main focus, is to locate him. Other cases that they've worked have basically been set aside, and their focus has been to locate Preston Thomas.
Do we know what the altercation stemmed from, and is there surveillance video that captured that?
So yeah, we have some idea from talking to the people at Safco exactly what the nature of the altercation was. There is no indication from the course of the investigation that these two individuals knew each other prior to coming to work that day. And there is surveillance footage that will be used as evidence in the course of the trial when we get to that part of the investigation.
Do you believe he's in Virginia still?
We believe that at times that he is probably still here in this local area. There is some indication that maybe for short periods of time he's left and gone to other locations again, but that's part of still you guys here today. We want to make a strong, hard push to get this information out there. Our concern is this. This is an extremely violent act and a senseless act that took place for no exact reason. Our concern is that over the coming weeks or months that if Mr. Thomas is not arrested, that he has contact with other people. He obviously knows by now that he has outstanding arrest warrants, that he would have some type of contact with law enforcement. And so it's for the public safety, and it's also for the safety and well-being of the men and women who wear a badge every day, that we get that Mr. Thomas turn himself in a peaceful manner and not to have any encounters with law enforcement that could go awry.
Captain, do you think the release of the video might help the search and generate some leads?
At this time, we're not prepared to release that video. Again, that's a key piece of evidence, just like we wouldn't release certain portions of evidence in any other trials. It may come a time and place where we decide to release part of that. Our first priority is getting Mr. Thomas in custody. Once that happens, then that takes us to a whole different phase of the investigation, working with our Commonwealth's attorney who is here today, that we may determine that releasing some of that at some point may benefit the investigation.
Does he have a previous arrest record? Where did you get the mug shot?
Mr. Thomas does, I'm going to have to defer to that. He does have some minor arrest records, and I'd have to get back to you on that exactly where that picture came from.
What's the status of your reward? What was the reward? Has it been declared?
So as you guys may know or may not know, traditionally Crimeline rewards were always capped at $1,000. The law changed here in Virginia. The Virginia statute that governs Crimeline and tips changed 2 years ago, and it allowed local crime lines to increase the tips to the amount of $5,000, and it has to do with tax reporting purposes. Anything below $5,000, we're not required to give the tipster a 1099 to report it to the Department of Taxation. Previously, that limit was $1,000. The Hampton Roads Regional Crime Line Boards, which Mr. Boykins and I are part of, as well as the other crime lines throughout the area, had agreed that even though that law had changed to allow us to pay $5,000, local crime lines were still going to cap their rewards at up to $1,000, unless circumstances such as this, where the Breeden family, corporate sponsors, or others wanted to add additional monies to that to bring it up to that $5,000 level. By capping it now at $5,000, we're able to, by the Code of Virginia, guarantee the anonymity of any tipster that comes forward.
When was the last time you got a tip either from the Crimeline or P3, or just a call in?
I'd have to go back and get those exact numbers. It's been, quite frankly, sadly, it's been a while that we've gotten some calls, and that was one of the reasons that the attorneys here reached out to us, and we decided to do this. In order to catch Preston Thomas, we've got to keep his picture in the forefront. We've got to keep his information out there. We have the regional crime lines have a great working relationship with Adams Outdoor Advertising, so they will begin putting his picture as well as information on electronic billboards all throughout Hampton Roads and the peninsula. They have been a great corporate sponsor for the Hampton Roads regional crime lines for quite a while now.
You said, Captain Potter, about the altercation stemmed virtually for no reason. I mean, was there an argument over no reason? Can you allude to?
No, I guess there was a piece of property that was damaged during the course. It is honestly just a workplace, as a cell phone, and the cell phone was laying on a ledge. It got knocked off. There were some words about the damage to the phone, and it kind of escalated again. When I say this was a senseless tragedy, I cannot underscore that enough. An argument over a cell phone that fell to the floor cost this outstanding young man his life.
How much time elapsed between when the cell phone fell, the initial altercation, and the shooting?
So there was initial altercation. As the sheriff previously stated, Mr. Thomas went outside. A short time later, the employees went on their break, maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most.
Was Mr. Thomas a longtime employee there?
No, it was Mr. Thomas maybe had been there 2 days, 3 days working. They were both in, fairly new.
You said they were temporary employees.
They were working from a temp agency that had a contract to provide workers to the Safco warehouse.
Can you tell us a little bit more about him and just, give us a little bit of insight into who he was, so, we can, and maybe his mother can talk just a little bit about this young man?
My Rakim was very bright. Rakim was not the type of person to put himself in the position with crowds. Rakim was more of a loner. If he dealt with you, he did, and if he didn't bother anyone. He was a straight A student in school. Rakim came from Riverview Elementary on up to Hereford County High, all academics. He was in all kinds of organizations. Then he went on to be in the service, National Guard, helped put himself through school. He graduated with a bachelor's of psychology. And I was pushing him to get his master's, but he was a little tired of going to school right then. Rakim came back home to help me and to find a job to also help me. I had been fighting metastatic breast cancer, stage 4, and he wanted to help take care of his mother. At that morning when he went to work, I was prepared that afternoon to ask him, how was your day? As always, I did. And then I got a phone call from his friend stating that he had been shot down by a young man, Preston Cal Thomas, over a cell phone. Rakim didn't bother people. So I'm asking, begging, pleading. Anyone that knows anything that can help in any kind of way possible, please speak up. If you know the whereabouts of Preston Cal Thomas, please speak up and get in touch with Isle of Wight Sheriff Department. Thank you.
I just want to reiterate that this is, you can make an anonymous tip. So if your friends, family, or this can be done anonymously. Right is right, wrong is wrong. So do not be in fear for making a tip or sending any information that you possibly have regarding Preston Thomas.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. We, as always, the Isle of Wight Sheriff's Office appreciates your support and the work that our people do every day. So again, thank you very much.